Are you over 60? Did you know your body can still activate its natural healing mode without relying on medications? The truth is, it absolutely can, when supported by 15 simple yet powerful tips backed by modern science. These small changes can help you recover faster, feel lighter, and bring back that spark of daily joy and vitality. But before we dive in, we'd love to know, where are you watching from today? Leave us a quick comment below, and make sure to stay with us until the very end, because what you hear last might just be what your body needs most. Let's get started. 1. The body's built-in healing intelligence. One of the most overlooked truths in modern healthcare is that the human body is not just a passive structure. It is an active, intelligent system designed for healing. From the moment of birth, the body works relentlessly to maintain balance, fight infections, repair tissue, and adapt to the environment. This internal healing intelligence does not fade with age, it evolves. But to function optimally, it must be supported, not suppressed. Scientific research indicates that the body continually repairs itself at a cellular level. Every 7 to 10 years, most cells in the body are replaced. For example, skin renews every 27 days, and the liver, one of the most regenerative organs, can regrow up to 70% of its mass even after surgical removal. This regenerative capacity continues well into older age, provided the body receives the right conditions: proper sleep, nutrition, stress management, and movement. A clear illustration of this can be seen in post-operative recovery. Older adults who maintain a healthy lifestyle, such as regular walking, balanced meals, and community engagement, recover more quickly from surgeries compared to sedentary peers. A study published in the Journal of the American Geriatrics Society found that older adults with better nutritional status and higher physical activity levels experienced significantly fewer post-surgical complications and improved recovery times. Take, for instance, a 74-year-old man from Ohio who underwent knee replacement surgery. Unlike others in his ward, he had maintained a habit of daily 20-minute walks and cooked fresh meals at home. Within 3 weeks post-surgery, he was walking without a cane, while others were still struggling with inflammation and limited mobility. His physician noted that his body's recovery seemed to outpace expectations, not because of superior treatment, but because the body was ready to heal when properly primed. What often inhibits the body's healing ability is chronic stress, poor diet, lack of movement, and emotional suppression. These elements create inflammation, oxidative stress, and hormonal imbalances, which tax the body's repair systems. Chronic inflammation, for instance, has been linked to heart disease, diabetes, arthritis, and even depression. Yet, when inflammatory triggers are removed, the body often rebounds with remarkable speed and clarity. Actionable steps can begin with simplicity. Instead of overwhelming dietary changes, start by drinking 1 extra glass of water each morning to support cellular hydration. Dedicate 10 minutes daily to deep breathing or quiet reflection to reduce stress hormones like cortisol. Incorporate short walks, just 15 minutes after lunch or dinner, to stimulate circulation and digestive health. These are not trivial actions. They signal to the body that it is safe to heal. The more profound truth is that the body responds to consistency and care. Health is not restored through emergency intervention alone, but through everyday habits that whisper, not shout. When the body is nourished, rested, moved, and emotionally supported, it does what it has always known how to do. It heals. The wisdom of healing lies not in complexity, but in alignment with biology, with rhythm, and with self-respect. Understanding that healing is an innate process, rather than a rare miracle, can empower more meaningful choices. The body does not need to be forced, it needs to be listened to. Trusting in its intelligence and responding to its needs with gentleness and intention can open the door to vitality at any age. 2. Slowing down is a path to renewal. In today's fast-paced culture, where value is often measured by how busy one appears, the idea of slowing down may seem counterintuitive. Yet, slowing down is not a surrender to aging. It is a declaration of wisdom. For individuals over 50, embracing a slower rhythm is not only beneficial, it's essential. It offers the body, mind, and spirit a much-needed opportunity to reset, to heal, and to reconnect. Biologically, slowing down activates the parasympathetic nervous system, responsible for rest, digestion, and repair. This is the state in which true healing happens. According to research from Harvard Medical School, practices such as deep breathing, mindful walking, and quiet reflection can significantly lower cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, and reduce blood pressure. Over time, these shifts decrease systemic inflammation, improve immune function, and promote cellular repair. Slowing down also enhances cognitive function. A study published in the journal Frontiers in Psychology found that older adults who practiced regular mindfulness and relaxation exercises demonstrated better memory retention, greater attention span, and reduced anxiety compared to those who maintained a fast-paced, overstimulated lifestyle. The brain, like the body, thrives in calm, steady environments. A compelling example is that of a 69-year-old woman from Arizona who had spent most of her adult life as a caregiver for her ailing husband. When he passed, she found herself emotionally depleted and physically worn. Instead of reaching for medication, she adopted a slow living routine. 10 minutes of mindful breathing each morning, a quiet walk through her garden every afternoon, and journaling her thoughts each evening. Within 2 months, her blood pressure stabilized, her insomnia resolved, and her sense of vitality returned. Her physician noted marked improvements in her biomarkers of inflammation and stress simply by choosing stillness over speed. To begin cultivating slowness, start by taking small steps. Before reaching for a phone in the morning, take 3 slow, conscious breaths. When eating, chew slowly and put utensils down between bites. Allocate 5 minutes a day to sit quietly outdoors, noticing the sounds, the air, the sensations. These simple acts build a daily rhythm of calm and presence. They reteach the body that it is safe, that it is cared for, that it has time. The cultural message that faster is better often overshadows the more profound truth. Health is not a race. Healing does not arrive more quickly through force or effort. Instead, it unfolds gently, in the spaces where silence is allowed, where breath is slow, and where intention replaces urgency. Choosing to slow down is not stepping back from life. It's stepping more deeply into it. As age brings perspective, it also brings the gift of discernment, the wisdom to know when to act and when to pause. Embracing slowness in this season of life is not about doing less. It's about doing what truly matters, with care and presence. In the stillness, energy returns. In the quiet, clarity emerges. And in the rhythm of slowness, healing becomes not just possible, but natural. 3. Joyful movement as medicine. The body was designed to move, not through pressure or punishment, but through joy and pleasure. Especially in the later years of life, movement should not be about burning calories or reaching arbitrary fitness goals. Instead, it should be about nourishing the joints, improving circulation, uplifting the mood, and reconnecting with the body in a kind, celebratory way. Scientific research strongly supports this. According to a study from the National Institute on Aging, consistent moderate physical activity in adults over 60 is linked to lower risks of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, osteoporosis, and cognitive decline. But the key is not just consistency, it is enjoyment. People are far more likely to stick with a movement when it brings them happiness, not dread. Joyful movement can take many forms. It may be a 15-minute morning stretch on the porch. It might be dancing to 1960s Motown hits in the living room. For some, it's a walk around the block with a neighbor. For others, it's gardening, tai chi, or water aerobics. The activity itself is less important than how it makes one feel. Movement that is infused with delight sends powerful signals to the brain, releasing endorphins and reducing pain perception. A notable example comes from a retired nurse in Minnesota, age 73, who struggled with depression and stiffness after retirement. Instead of enrolling in a strict gym regimen, she joined a local line dancing class at the senior center twice a week. Within months, not only did her mobility improve, but she also reported deeper sleep, greater social connection, and a renewed sense of purpose. Her physician even documented improvements in her cholesterol levels and balance tests. Movement had become her medicine. To integrate joyful movement into daily life, start by revisiting what once brought pleasure. Was it walking in the woods, riding a bicycle, or simply swaying to music? Rekindle that memory and bring it forward. Begin with 5 to 10 minutes of daily practice. Try different times of day to find your rhythm. Invite a friend, join a class, or dance in solitude. What matters most is the feeling of being alive within your own body. Even small gestures count. Stretching the arms overhead while watching television, taking the stairs instead of the elevator, and standing and swaying to a favorite song during a break. These micro-movements create momentum, awaken dormant muscles, and restore confidence in one's physical self. Beyond the physical benefits, movement cultivates emotional resilience. It reduces anxiety, improves mood, and increases cognitive sharpness. A moving body is a signaling body, constantly sending messages of vitality to the brain. And the brain, in turn, supports longevity. In the journey of aging, movement is not about defying time, it's about dancing with it. Choosing joyful movement is choosing to stay engaged with life. It is saying yes to the body's desire to express, to stretch, to breathe. And in that choice, healing does not feel like hard work. It feels like coming home. 4. Eating with awareness, not anxiety. Dr. Mark Hyman, a renowned functional medicine expert, once said, "Food is not just calories, it's information. It talks to your DNA and tells it what to do." This statement captures a profound truth. The way food is chosen, prepared, and consumed shapes not only physical health but also vitality, mood, longevity, and resilience. Mindful eating is not about restriction or perfection. It is about presence. It means listening to hunger and fullness cues, appreciating flavors and textures, and recognizing how different foods affect energy, mood, and digestion. According to a study published in Appetite, older adults who practiced mindful eating showed improved blood glucose control and reduced emotional eating, particularly those managing chronic illnesses like type 2 diabetes. Rather than being driven by external rules, such as low carb, low fat, or no sugar, mindful eating invites internal wisdom. It encourages slowing down at mealtime, chewing thoroughly, and pausing between bites. These small shifts improve digestion, reduce overeating, and foster a respectful relationship with food. An illustrative case comes from a 76-year-old woman in Georgia who struggled with digestive discomfort and weight fluctuations for years. After adopting mindful eating practices, setting her fork down between bites, removing distractions during meals, and blessing her food before eating, she reported more consistent energy, improved digestion, and a newfound joy in cooking for herself. Her physician noted better metabolic readings after just 3 months. To begin, create an intentional eating space. No screens, no rush, just a quiet moment with your meal. Before taking the first bite, pause and take 3 slow breaths. As you eat, notice the texture of each food, the subtle flavors, and the pace of your chewing. When the body is relaxed, it digests better, absorbs more nutrients, and signals satisfaction more accurately. Expressing gratitude before a meal is another healing practice. It calms the nervous system. Neuroscientists at UCLA have discovered that gratitude activates brain regions associated with well-being, sleep regulation, and reduced inflammation. A simple thank you to the earth, the hands that prepared the food, and the body receiving it creates a mental and emotional environment that supports healing. Mindful eating also helps identify patterns that no longer serve well-being. Emotional eating, unconscious snacking, or habitual overconsumption can begin to lose their grip when awareness enters the picture. When food becomes a friend instead of a fix, it transforms from a source of guilt to a source of nourishment. As the years pass, the relationship with food becomes more than just nutritional. It becomes sacred. Food is memory, comfort, celebration, and healing. Eating with awareness invites a return to wholeness, reminding that every bite is a conversation with life itself. In that conversation, the opportunity to heal is offered again and again. 5. The rituals that shape our days. At 82, Mr. Thomas, a retired woodworker from North Carolina, begins each morning with the same ritual: a warm glass of lemon water, 10 minutes of reading poetry by his front window, and a slow walk around his garden. It may seem simple, even unremarkable, but these daily rhythms have helped him maintain steady energy, restful sleep, and a sense of grounding that few medications could replicate. His primary care physician often remarks that Thomas has the blood pressure and resting heart rate of someone 20 years younger. What's his secret? According to him, it's consistency and care. Routines are not just about discipline, they are about rhythm. In biology, everything operates in rhythm: our heartbeats, hormone cycles, and sleep-wake patterns. When daily habits are aligned with this natural rhythm, the body thrives. Studies from the National Institutes of Health show that older adults who maintain regular routines for waking, eating, moving, and sleeping exhibit improved mental clarity, reduced rates of depression, and enhanced immune function. Creating a personalized routine brings structure and stability to the nervous system. In contrast, unpredictability and constant decision-making can exhaust the brain's executive function, leading to decision fatigue and emotional volatility. Simple practices, such as waking at the same hour, having a consistent bedtime routine, or preparing meals at regular intervals, provide psychological safety and physiological harmony. An 80-year-old woman in Oregon adopted a ritual of gentle stretching and listening to classical music before bed after a period of insomnia and low mood. Within 2 weeks, she reported deeper sleep and reduced anxiety. Her grandchildren began joining her on weekends, making it a cherished family tradition. What started as a solitary healing practice evolved into a source of connection across generations. To begin crafting a restorative daily rhythm, identify 1 or 2 anchors, such as a morning moment of quiet before coffee, a midday walk, or a nightly gratitude reflection. These anchors do not have to be lengthy or complex. What matters is consistency and the message it sends to the body. You are safe. You are cared for. Neurologically, routines help regulate the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal (HPA) axis, the body's central stress response system. When routines are predictable, the brain reduces the output of stress hormones, such as cortisol, allowing systems of repair and digestion to function optimally. The wisdom of aging includes the ability to turn everyday actions into rituals of care. Folding laundry with attention, lighting a candle before dinner, or walking at the same hour each morning, all of these small choices compound into a life that feels balanced, grounded, and meaningful. Far from being mundane, daily habits are the architecture of well-being. They give shape to time, provide purpose to movement, and offer comfort through familiarity. In a world full of chaos and change, rituals serve as a way to return home to oneself again and again. 6. Emotional pain hurts more than physical pain. At first, that statement may seem exaggerated, even offensive to those who have suffered physical injury or illness. But neuroscience continues to support the idea that emotional wounds, loss, regret, abandonment, shame, are not only stored in memory, but are processed through the same neural pathways as physical pain. This doesn't minimize physical suffering. Instead, it expands our understanding of what the body holds on to and what healing truly requires. For older adults, emotional pain often accumulates quietly over decades. Grief from losing a spouse, guilt about estranged children, regret over past choices. These experiences lodge themselves not just in memory, but in muscle tension, sleep patterns, posture, blood pressure, and even immune response. The phrase, "I carry it in my body," is more than a metaphor. It's a measurable truth. In a study published by the University of Pittsburgh, older adults who reported unresolved emotional trauma had significantly higher levels of C-reactive protein, a marker for chronic inflammation. Elevated inflammation has been linked to heart disease, arthritis, and even Alzheimer's. Emotional pain, when left unacknowledged, can become physical over time. Consider the story of a Vietnam veteran in his late 70s who suffered from chronic back pain for nearly 20 years. He had seen multiple specialists, tried various medications, and even undergone surgery. Nothing fully relieved the pain. It wasn't until he participated in a veterans support group, where he began speaking about a traumatic event he had never told anyone, that his symptoms began to shift. Within months of regular emotional release through storytelling, his pain episodes lessened and he no longer required daily medication. The body remembers, but it also responds when given safe opportunities to release. Writing letters to one's younger self, speaking aloud to a photograph of a lost loved one, practicing forgiveness, not just toward others, but toward the past version of oneself, can initiate biochemical and neurological changes. These are not abstract notions. They are observable in hormone regulation, immune function, and pain perception. Harvard researchers have shown that expressive writing reduces doctor visits and improves immune markers in older adults. Emotional expression is not weakness. It is a healing technology, available to everyone regardless of background or belief. To begin, set aside 10 minutes a day for reflection. Use paper, voice recordings, or quiet thought to revisit moments that still tug on the heart. Name the emotions without judgment. If necessary, seek professional guidance, community groups, or clergy who can provide a safe space for that process. Healing emotionally is not about erasing the past. It's about integrating it, so it no longer controls the present. Pain may not disappear overnight, but it becomes something that can be held with gentleness, rather than something that keeps us hostage. In the later chapters of life, unspoken sorrow often surfaces. But this is not a flaw. It's an invitation to unburden the heart and let the body exhale. True healing doesn't end with the body. It begins when the heart is no longer afraid to feel, to speak, and finally to let go. 7. Creativity isn't just for the young. It's a lifelong medicine. According to a study by the Mayo Clinic, seniors who engaged in artistic activities such as painting, music, or crafts at least once a week were 73% less likely to develop mild cognitive impairment compared to those who did not. That number may surprise many who assume creativity fades with age, but the opposite is often true. Creativity expands with wisdom, deepens with memory, and offers healing in ways few medicines can replicate. Creativity activates the brain's reward system, increases dopamine production, and encourages neural plasticity. For older adults, this can translate into improved focus, sharper memory, and a more elevated mood. But beyond the biological benefits, creativity gives voice to experiences too complex for conversation. It provides meaning, connection, and a sense of contribution, especially when other roles and identities begin to shift in retirement or through loss. A 77-year-old retired bus driver in Kansas began writing short stories during the pandemic as a way to cope with isolation. What started as scribbled notes on scrap paper turned into a self-published collection of fictional tales based on his childhood memories. He shared them with his grandchildren, who began to ask for story night over Zoom. Not only did this strengthen family bonds, but he also reported fewer headaches, improved sleep, and a renewed sense of purpose. Creativity doesn't require talent. It requires permission, the freedom to make something without judgment. Whether it's knitting, sketching, gardening, woodworking, or cooking a new recipe, the creative act shifts attention from fear to play. It opens the mind and softens the heart. It moves grief into color, anxiety into rhythm, and boredom into discovery. The therapeutic power of art is now well documented. Programs in senior centers across the United States have demonstrated that participation in music groups, pottery classes, and storytelling workshops can reduce loneliness, improve dexterity, and alleviate depressive symptoms. Neurologically, creating activates multiple areas of the brain simultaneously, including those responsible for emotion, memory, and coordination. To begin, choose an activity that was once loved or has been long forgotten. Dust off that instrument in the closet, revisit a childhood hobby, or try something entirely new. Creativity is not about results, it's about engagement. Try dedicating 20 minutes a day to creative expression. Set no goals, expect no perfection. Let curiosity guide the process. In moments of sadness or confusion, creative tasks offer a sense of flow, a psychological state where time seems to pause and self-consciousness dissolves. This state is deeply healing. It restores balance and often brings insight or emotional clarity that conversation alone cannot provide. Even those with limited mobility or cognitive decline can benefit. Music therapy for individuals with dementia, for example, has been shown to improve mood and reduce agitation. Creating is a way of saying, I am still here, I still matter. Aging does not diminish the imagination, it refines it. With fewer distractions, more profound reflections, and a lifetime of stories to draw from. Creativity in older age is not only possible, it is profound. And in each brushstroke, melody, or handwritten word, healing unfolds. Not as an end goal, but as a gentle return to wholeness. 8. Nature heals the mind and the body, every single time. There is no substitute for the healing power of nature. This is not just a poetic sentiment. It is a scientifically supported fact. Regular contact with natural environments has been shown to lower blood pressure, reduce stress hormones, enhance immune function, and even support longevity. Nature works quietly yet powerfully, regulating the body's systems in ways that modern medicine is only beginning to understand fully. Unlike pills or procedures, it asks for nothing but presence and offers everything in return. A growing body of research from institutions like Stanford and the University of Michigan confirms what many intuitively feel. Spending time in natural surroundings improves focus, reduces mental fatigue, and lifts symptoms of anxiety and depression. A landmark study found that just 20 minutes of daily nature exposure significantly reduced cortisol levels, the body's primary stress hormone. The effect was even greater when the experience was quiet and screen-free. For older adults, the benefits are especially profound. Regular outdoor time enhances vitamin D levels, boosts mood, and helps maintain bone density and balance, all of which become more important with age. Being in nature also rekindles a sense of awe and perspective. Watching the seasons change, observing birds in flight, and feeling the texture of the soil or the breeze on one's skin, these sensory moments reconnect the individual to something greater than themselves. Awe, as it turns out, is more than a feeling. It stimulates oxytocin and other feel-good hormones that calm the body and open the heart. A striking example comes from a senior living facility in Colorado that implemented a weekly Green Hour program for its residents. Each Friday, residents would spend 1 hour outdoors, sometimes gardening, other times walking, or simply sitting in a courtyard surrounded by plants. Within 3 months, staff observed a notable decrease in reports of agitation, improved sleep among residents with dementia, and an overall increase in well-being. But nature does more than soothe. It teaches. It reminds the aging mind that growth does not stop with age. Trees lose their leaves, then blossom again. Streams wear down stones with persistence, not force. Time in nature offers gentle metaphors for resilience, acceptance, and transformation. For someone grieving, a single flower blooming through cracked pavement can provide more comfort than 100 spoken words. Accessing nature does not require a mountain trail or a sprawling forest. It can be as simple as sitting beneath a tree, tending to a balcony garden, or walking barefoot in the grass. The critical element is intentional presence, being aware of what is seen, felt, and heard. This mindfulness amplifies nature's effects, allowing the nervous system to downshift and the body's innate healing processes to engage. Even those with limited mobility can benefit. Studies show that viewing natural landscapes or listening to natural sounds, such as bird calls or running water, can significantly lower heart rate and ease tension. These elements can be integrated into daily life, playing nature sounds during meals, displaying photographs of outdoor scenes, or placing a living plant by a favorite chair. Nature also invites movement and community. A short stroll becomes meaningful when paired with noticing the rhythm of wind in leaves or the way sunlight touches the grass. In community gardens or walking groups, it fosters connection, not only to the earth, but to others. It restores what modern life often takes away: stillness, wonder, and a sense of belonging. In a world that increasingly pulls attention to screens and schedules, returning to nature is a return to self. The earth does not rush. The trees do not judge. In nature, there is space to breathe, to rest, to be. No matter one's age or health condition, nature offers something real, something nourishing, something enduring. And when time is spent under the open sky, surrounded by life, healing is not only possible, it becomes inevitable. 9. Rethinking modern medicine. Its power and its limits. What if the very system designed to heal has, in some ways, made us forget our role in the recovery process? Modern medicine has gifted the world with extraordinary tools: life-saving surgeries, antibiotics, advanced diagnostics, and emergency interventions that have transformed the survival rate and quality of life for millions. But somewhere along the journey, a subtle message crept in: that healing is something that happens to us, not within us. This mindset, though convenient, can disempower. It can lead to passivity, where symptoms are managed but root causes are ignored. It can create dependency on medications without lifestyle change, and it may overlook emotional and environmental contributors to chronic illness. In truth, modern medicine excels at acute care. Still, it often falters when it comes to chronic, lifestyle-related diseases, conditions that account for the majority of health concerns in older adults. A national report from the CDC revealed that 6 in 10 American adults have at least one chronic disease, and 4 in 10 live with 2 or more. Many of these conditions, such as type 2 diabetes, hypertension, and cardiovascular disease, are significantly influenced by nutrition, sleep, movement, and stress. And yet, less than 20% of medical schools require students to take even a single course in nutrition. The system is built to treat, not always to teach. Take the case of a 68-year-old man in Florida who was diagnosed with prediabetes and prescribed metformin. Rather than relying solely on the medication, he enrolled in a lifestyle medicine group. Over 6 months, he modified his diet, walked daily, practiced meditation, and lost 15 pounds. His blood sugar normalized, and his doctor reduced his dosage by half. He still credits the medication for giving him a start, but he credits himself for continuing the healing. A similar story comes from a 73-year-old retired nurse in Ohio who had been on blood pressure medication for over a decade. After attending a local seminar on stress reduction and sleep hygiene, she began implementing consistent sleep routines, reduced her consumption of processed foods, and started practicing Tai Chi twice a week. Within 4 months, her blood pressure dropped enough that her physician safely cut her medication in half. It wasn't magic, she said. It was commitment. This is the balance that needs to be restored, honoring what medicine can do while reclaiming what we must do for ourselves. Modern medicine and holistic living are not adversaries, they are allies. Surgery saves lives, but so does walking each morning. Antibiotics kill bacteria, but community and purpose strengthen the immune system. Scans reveal tumors, but meaningful relationships and good sleep support recovery. We must also ask better questions during medical appointments. What is the cause of this symptom? What can I do to support my body in its healing process? Are there lifestyle changes that could reduce or replace this prescription? Being an empowered patient doesn't mean rejecting treatment. It means being an active participant in it. Respecting modern medicine means understanding its brilliance and its boundaries. It means viewing it as a partner, not a savior. It means continuing to learn about the body's capacity to heal, something no pill, however powerful, can replace. The future of aging well may not lie in choosing between hospitals or herbs, doctors or deep breathing, but in integrating both. Medicine should open the door, but we still must walk through it. Healing, at its best, is not something that is delivered. It is co-created. 10. Awakening the power of self-healing. What if the most significant healing force isn't in a pill, a doctor's office, or a machine, but already lives inside the body, quietly waiting to be activated? This is one of the most underappreciated truths in modern health. The body is not inherently broken. It is always trying to return to balance. The real secret is that self-healing is not a rare miracle. It is the body's natural setting. Every breath taken, every heartbeat, every wound that closes without command, all are signs that the body has never stopped working in your favor. But for that healing intelligence to work at its best, it needs the right conditions: nourishment, rest, emotional safety, and a sense of meaning. Buddhism has long recognized this innate healing power. In the Dhammapada, the Buddha teaches, health is the greatest gift, contentment the greatest wealth, faithfulness the best relationship. This simple truth reminds us that wellness arises not just from what we do, but how we live. Buddhist monastics emphasize daily rituals, mindfulness, and moderation as essential elements in maintaining physical and spiritual health. The body and mind are viewed as interconnected, not separate, and both require compassion, awareness, and care. The process of self-healing involves the immune system, the nervous system, hormones, and even the subconscious mind. A study from the Cleveland Clinic found that individuals who regularly practiced self-care rituals, such as meditation, breathwork, gratitude journaling, or gentle exercise, had fewer hospital visits, needed fewer medications, and reported significantly greater well-being. One remarkable example comes from a 75-year-old widow in Maine who struggled with fatigue and anxiety after losing her husband. Doctors found no medical cause. Rather than pursue more tests, she began a simple daily routine: 10 minutes of meditation, writing down 3 things she was grateful for, walking outdoors, and cooking for herself with care. Within weeks, her mood lifted. Her energy returned. At her next checkup, her physician said, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." Self-healing does not mean refusing medical care. It means becoming an active participant in the process. It means asking, not just, what can fix me, but also, what can I do to support my healing? This shift in mindset transforms the experience of illness from one of helplessness to one of agency. There is growing evidence in mind-body medicine that thoughts, beliefs, and emotional resilience have a direct influence on physical outcomes. Positive expectations have been shown to accelerate recovery, even in clinical trials. The placebo effect is not fake healing. It's proof of the brain's role in mobilizing healing responses. Belief matters. Hope is not naive. It is a biochemical phenomenon. In Buddhist practice, Loving-kindness meditation, metta, is often employed to alleviate inner tension and foster self-compassion, which in turn reduces stress and enhances overall well-being. The body responds more readily to healing when offered peace instead of pressure. Buddha taught that the mind is everything. What you think, you become. This is more than a philosophy, it's a biological truth. To awaken self-healing, begin gently. Create a morning ritual that honors your body. A warm drink, a stretch, or a silent prayer. Speak kindly to yourself, mainly when pain or fatigue arises. Surround yourself with people, spaces, and stories that affirm your worth and potential. Rest not just when exhausted, but as a regular practice of renewal. The body remembers how to heal. It always has. But healing asks for partnership. It asks to be listened to. When aligned with its rhythm, through nourishment, connection, breath, and belief, the body does more than survive. It transforms. In the later chapters of life, self-healing is not about turning back time. It's about honoring what still lives inside. Resilience, clarity, strength, and grace. The secret isn't out there. It's already within, waiting to be trusted. And that trust, that quiet agreement between you and your body, is where healing truly begins. 11. Breaking the myth of too late to change. One of the most limiting beliefs people carry into their later years is the idea that it's too late to change, that after a certain age, personal growth stalls, habits are unbreakable, and the body can't respond to new efforts. This belief is not only incorrect, it robs people of their agency and the potential for a vibrant life after 50. Neuroscience has thoroughly debunked the myth. The brain's plasticity, the ability to create new neural connections, does not suddenly vanish after middle age. Studies from the University of California and Harvard Medical School reveal that older adults who engage in mental challenges such as learning a new language, picking up a musical instrument, or playing strategic games like chess continue to develop new synaptic pathways. These changes are measurable and often correspond to improvements in mood, memory, and even physical balance. Data from the National Institute on Aging emphasizes that lifestyle has a greater impact on aging than genetics. What this means is powerful. Your habits, environment, mindset, and daily choices have a greater say in your well-being than your DNA. A well-documented program by the Mayo Clinic found that older adults who adopted modest lifestyle changes, such as daily walks, reducing processed sugar intake, limiting screen time, and engaging in community volunteering, reported significantly higher levels of vitality and lower rates of depression and cognitive decline. Consider the story of a 76-year-old veteran in Oregon who struggled with hypertension and loneliness. After joining a local gardening club, his activity level rose, his blood pressure dropped, and he began mentoring younger members. He didn't need a new body, he needed a new reason to move. Purpose, not just pills, drove his healing. The belief that change is only for the young often stems from fear of discomfort, failure, or simply appearing foolish. But the truth is that starting something new at 70 requires far more courage than at 20, and that courage alone builds resilience. What many perceive as decline can be seen as reinvention. Each day presents a new opportunity to improve your health. Swapping one cup of coffee for water, choosing stairs instead of elevators, taking a moment of stillness instead of rushing, these tiny shifts compound. Over time, they become not just habits, but evidence that transformation is not only possible, it's happening. Age brings with it a clarity that youth rarely affords, the knowledge of what matters and what doesn't. Use that clarity. Recommit to your health. Reclaim your choices. Let each sunrise remind you that time isn't your enemy, it's your teacher. There's no expiration date on renewal. Change isn't reserved for the young, it's for the willing. And the moment you decide to begin, no matter the decade, your future starts rewriting itself. So break the myth. Begin where you are. Let your life, even now, be your most outstanding work in progress. 12. Empowerment through purposeful living. It's easy to feel invisible or irrelevant in a fast-paced world, especially after retirement or when the children have grown and left home. Many older adults quietly wonder, do I still matter? The answer, deeply and unequivocally, is yes. But it's not about what you've done in the past. It's about what gives your life meaning today. Purpose is not something exclusive to youth or ambition. It's the steady flame that warms every stage of life. Studies from the University of Michigan have found that older adults who report having a strong sense of purpose tend to live longer, recover more quickly from illnesses, and exhibit greater resilience in the face of adversity. Purpose is not just about productivity, it's about connection. It's about waking up and knowing that your presence, your wisdom, and your care still have an impact. Consider the story of a 70-year-old man in New Mexico who, after retiring from a 40-year career in engineering, felt adrift and unsure of his worth. One day, he was asked to speak at a local high school about his work. That 1 hour of sharing lit something inside him. He began mentoring students weekly. 2 years later, he created a scholarship fund for underprivileged youth. He often says that retirement didn't end his life. It returned him to what mattered most. Purpose can look like that, or it can be quieter. Tending a garden, calling a friend who's grieving, volunteering at a library, or teaching a grandchild to cook. What matters is that it connects you to something larger than yourself, something that affirms you're still part of the world's unfolding. Research from Blue Zones, regions in the world where people live significantly longer, reveals a common trait: a purposeful approach to living. In Okinawa, it's called ikigai, the reason to get up in the morning. Those who carry purpose live not just more years, but better ones, healthier, fuller, more connected. Finding your purpose doesn't require radical change. It begins with curiosity. What makes you feel useful? What brings a spark to your day? Who benefits when you show up fully? Answering these questions can be the first step toward not just healing, but flourishing. When life shifts, after loss, retirement, or illness, purpose becomes the compass that steadies us. It helps the body respond better to stress, keeps the mind alert, and provides emotional stability. It's the psychological glue that holds us engaged and hopeful. You are not defined by your age, your aches, or the titles you've held. You are defined by what still lives in you and what you choose to give back. Living with purpose doesn't require perfection. It only asks that you care. So, if you've been wondering whether your life still holds meaning, let this be your reminder. It does. And every act of kindness, every moment of attention, every offering of your experience is a gift. The world needs you, your voice, your story, your purpose. Let it shine. 13. The transformative power of gratitude. Did you know that practicing gratitude can rewire your brain? According to a study conducted by the University of California, Berkeley, people who wrote down things they were grateful for just once a week for 10 weeks reported significantly better moods, lower levels of inflammation, and even improved sleep. Gratitude isn't just a nice sentiment. It's a proven method of improving physical and emotional health. As we age, it's natural to focus on what's been lost: mobility, loved ones, independence. But shifting the lens to what remains can change everything. The practice of gratitude doesn't ignore pain or grief. It simply broadens the view to include what is still beautiful, still possible, still ours. It's a quiet rebellion against bitterness, a gentle act of resilience. Consider the story of a 68-year-old woman in Kansas who had recently lost her husband and struggled with chronic pain. Her daughter encouraged her to keep a small notebook of things she was thankful for each day. At first, she wrote only one word: sunlight, tea, quiet. But over time, the list grew. Her neighbor's smile, a grandchild's phone call, the warmth of her blanket. Within months, her outlook shifted. Her doctor noted lower blood pressure and more energy. But more importantly, she laughed again. Or take the experience of an 80-year-old retired firefighter from Ohio who suffered from loneliness after his lifelong friends passed away. He began each day by writing one letter of gratitude to people who had shaped his life. An old coach, a nurse who cared for him after surgery, even the local grocer who always remembered his name. Some of these letters he mailed, others he kept in a box. He later shared, "It reminded me that I've been loved, helped, and seen. That gave me a reason to keep reaching out." Gratitude activates the hypothalamus, which governs sleep, metabolism, and stress regulation. It also stimulates dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. This means that simply by acknowledging good moments, however small, we build emotional momentum that carries us through the difficult ones. And when practiced regularly, gratitude can become not just a coping tool, but a worldview. It's especially powerful for older adults because it redirects attention from what the body can no longer do and focuses it on what the spirit can still do. Writing a thank you note, expressing appreciation out loud, or silently naming 3 blessings before bed, these aren't just habits, they are rituals of healing. Science supports it, stories affirm it, and personal experience confirms it. Gratitude heals. It softens grief, clarifies priorities, and reconnects us to joy. It permits older adults to thrive emotionally, even in seasons of loss. Gratitude doesn't require everything to be perfect. It simply asks us to notice what is still good, and in doing so, it reveals the strength and beauty of a heart that has weathered storms but remains open. So if you're feeling lost or weary, begin here, not with goals or grand changes, but with a quiet acknowledgement. I'm still here. And this moment, this breath, this sky, this chance is still mine to appreciate. Because gratitude, like all powerful things, begins simply. And with it, healing follows. 14. Finding strength in forgiveness. In a small town in Vermont, a 76-year-old man named Harold decided to do something extraordinary. For over 3 decades, he had held on to resentment toward a former business partner who had betrayed him. The bitterness had hardened his spirit, affecting not only his health, but also his relationships with those closest to him. One morning, after years of heartache, Harold wrote a letter, not of accusation, but of forgiveness. He never sent it. Instead, he folded it neatly, placed it in a drawer, and whispered to himself, "I let this go now." Something shifted. Within weeks, Harold's insomnia eased. He started reconnecting with old friends. He even began painting again, a hobby he had long abandoned. His physician, unaware of the letter, noticed improved blood pressure and reduced joint inflammation. His renewed joy didn't come from outside circumstances, but from the quiet freedom of emotional release. Forgiveness is often misunderstood as letting others off the hook. In truth, it is the ultimate act of self-liberation. Studies from Stanford University show that individuals who practice forgiveness experience fewer physical symptoms of stress, such as headaches, back pain, and fatigue. Their hearts are healthier, and their outlooks are more hopeful. Forgiveness doesn't erase the past, it reclaims the future. Older adults often carry layers of emotional pain, family estrangements, regrets, betrayals. Over time, these emotional wounds become part of the body's burden. But forgiving, even privately, can interrupt that cycle. It signals to the nervous system that the threat has passed, allowing the body to begin its healing response. Harvard Medical School research suggests that forgiveness can help reduce anxiety, lower blood pressure, and enhance heart health. Forgiveness can take many forms. Writing a letter you never sent, lighting a candle in memory of a complicated relationship, or speaking aloud a simple phrase, "I release this hurt." These acts aren't dramatic. They're deeply personal, often sacred. They reconnect us with our humanity and return control over our narrative. It's important to remember that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or condoning harm. It means refusing to let that harm shape who you are going forward. It's not weakness, it's strength refined through suffering. Forgiveness is one of the most extraordinary acts of courage a person can offer, especially later in life. As the Buddha said, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Science and spirituality converge on this truth. Holding on to resentment impacts heart health, immunity, and cognitive function. Letting go restores vitality. Forgiveness doesn't change what happened, but it changes what's possible next. So if there is a name, a moment, or a memory that still tugs at you painfully, consider Harold's example. The act of release might not be loud, it might not even be visible, but within, it can create a powerful opening for peace, for freedom, for life to feel whole again. Healing, at any age, begins not with what others do, but with what we choose to let go of. And forgiveness may be the most potent medicine of all. 15. Living with purpose and meaning. A meaningful life doesn't require grand achievements. It involves something much simpler, knowing that what we do still matters. This is especially true in later years, when the rhythm of life slows and moments of reflection become more frequent. Purpose is not reserved for the young. In truth, it becomes more vital as we age. Scientific studies from the Rush Memory and Aging Project have shown that older adults who live with a strong sense of purpose are more than twice as likely to remain cognitively healthy and independent. The feeling that one still contributes, still has something to offer, significantly lowers the risk of dementia, heart disease, and depression. Purpose is more than an emotional comfort. It is a physiological force that keeps the body and brain resilient. Take Robert, an 81-year-old veteran in Minnesota. After his wife passed, Robert found himself listless and lonely. Then one day, he began fixing up old bicycles and donating them to children in need. It was a small gesture, but to him, it was everything. He woke each morning with renewed energy. His appetite returned. He started walking more and sleeping better. His health improved not from medication, but from motivation. The purpose doesn't need to be complex. It can be found in daily routines, such as tending a garden, helping a neighbor, mentoring a grandchild, or volunteering at the local library. The essential ingredient is not scale, but sincerity. Doing what feels meaningful to the heart lights a fire that nourishes the spirit. In Buddhist teaching, the path to a fulfilling life begins with the right intention. Purpose aligns us with our intentions. It gives structure to the day, clarity to our actions, and peace to the heart. As the Buddha once said, your purpose in life is to find your purpose and give your whole heart and soul to it. For older adults navigating the transitions of retirement, loss, or physical change, redefining purpose can be a powerful source of renewal. It invites curiosity. What brings me joy? What do I wish to leave behind? These questions become gentle prompts that guide the soul back to wholeness. Ultimately, purpose is the quiet force that propels us forward. It is not bound by age, but awakened through compassion, curiosity, and contribution. Living with purpose doesn't just help us live longer, it also allows us to live more fully. It helps us live fuller lives, and that may be the most healing truth of all. Dear friend, after everything we've explored together today, one core truth stands out with quiet power. Your body, even in the later chapters of life, is still wise, still capable, still healing. It has not forgotten how to restore itself. It's been doing that for you, silently, faithfully, every single day. And what it needs most is not more control, but more care. When we slow down, breathe deeply, eat mindfully, move with joy, express our emotions, practice forgiveness, and live with gratitude, the body hears this as a signal. I am safe now. I am loved. I can begin to heal. And when the body feels safe, it responds, not with resistance, but with renewal. Healing isn't a miracle reserved for the few. It's a rhythm, nourished by gentle routines, quiet moments, kind thoughts, and daily acts of self-respect. There is no age limit to vitality. There is only the question, what can I choose today that supports my health and peace? So if you've been waiting for the right time to take better care of yourself, let this be your sign. Start small. Start today. Start with the belief that it's not too late. Because it isn't. It never is. If this is your first time visiting our channel, or if you haven't yet subscribed, we warmly invite you to hit the subscribe button today so you won't miss any of our upcoming videos created just for you. And please, we would love to hear from you. Share your thoughts or personal reflections in the comments below. Your story may be exactly what someone else needs to read today. Thank you for watching. May you stay healthy, peaceful, and full of joy in this precious stage of life.